Am I the asshole for not continuing the punishment our ex set for our son at my house? The punishment was issued because our 8-year-old son faked being sick the day of his dad's wedding so he wouldn't be there. Ex got married last weekend. My ex was furious when he found out, and the truth came out because he went home to check on our son in the afternoon and found our son perfectly fine after saying that morning that his stomach hurt really bad and he felt like he was going to be sick and actually pretended to have puked at some point that morning. So ex and his wife were upset but decided if he wasn't feeling good he should stay home. The babysitter also told ex our son seemed fine once everyone was gone and he'd been normal. Our son admitted it to his dad when asked directly, and ex grounded him for a month and told him he would not be having any kind of fun when he missed something as important as his wedding, and the day their family became bigger. When the exchange day took place, ex sent me this long, in-depth email about what our son had done, the punishment he had set, and that he expected me to continue the punishment at my house so our son could be grounded for 4 consecutive weeks instead of spreading it over 2 months. I spoke to our son when we were home and he admitted to me that he was really upset about his dad getting married and the fact things at his house were now permanent, and that he didn't love that his stepmom was now his stepmom and her daughters were now his stepsisters. I told him I would make him an appointment with his therapist. She got him in quickly and they had a good talk. I also decided not to continue the grounding at my house. I notified my ex. He was pissed. His wife was pissed. They told me mine and ex's son had disrespected both of them and had disrespected his new sisters by avoiding the celebration of them all becoming one family. I told them that Callum's son was struggling with all the changes and has had trouble adjusting to us no longer being together and us both having new partners who have other kids. That I had gotten him therapy for that very reason, and that ex chose not to bring our son when he is him, as is his right, but I also have the right to take a different approach to this. Ex said that our son never told him these things and I should be backing him up. I pointed out our son did tell him. It was 2 years ago, but he did tell him and he gave him attitude for it. Ex said it was no excuse and I should help punish him. I told him I want our son to tell me things, so I will always try to find ways to help him without punishing him. Ex and his wife say I'm an asshole and I should continue the punishment. She said I would not allow my son to dictate my life, or that I would not like him skipping something like that of mine. I told her I delayed furthering my relationship until my son is more comfortable, and I did so because he wasn't behaving the best around them, and we talked and I realized he'd need help and time. Am I the asshole? Your house, your rules. Not the asshole, and you sound like a very considerate mom. Getting him an appointment with his therapist was the right thing to do. Not the asshole. Start documentation. Your ex is making unreasonable demands to overrule your parenting decisions and your parenting authority. His spouse is making harmful statements about your son's upbringing. I cannot imagine how terrible life is at your ex's house, or how badly he's been treated as to fake an illness out of protest against this wedding. You're going to need those records for the upcoming custody revision that you're going to have to file for in family court. Not the asshole. Sounds like ex and his wife gave no time for the kid to adjust, especially what you said about the stepsister literally forcing a bond, and are now reaping what they sowed. At least your kid has one understanding parent and hopefully one patient step-parent. Your son probably did have a stomach ache because he was anxious and his feelings were so jumbled it was true. Then, he got better because the anxiety was gone, cause he didn't have to go in the end. Your ex is punishing your child for having emotions and feelings. I can see why he's your ex. Not the asshole, and I commend you for how well you're handling this. Thank you for recognizing how difficult this is for a child. The fact that you delayed your own relationship, talked with your son about his issues, and got him therapy are all good things. I think adults forget that children don't process things like adults. Having your parents divorce and remarry is world-shattering for a child. Your ex is being selfish expecting your son to celebrate something so upsetting. And punishing him for it is inappropriate. Not the asshole. Don't let your ex dictate how you treat your child, the ex part is there for a reason. Your child never lied to you. He was honest, he told you his troubles. I'm guessing he is apologetic to an extent to him tricking your ex and his partner. You yourself have no reason whatsoever to punish your child, as long as you aren't purposefully undermining your ex's authority. And he is 8, for crying out loud. Not the asshole. If your son opposed his dad's remarriage enough to fake being sick, he's clearly having a problem with it. His dad will probably find that punishing him will have the opposite effect of bringing the new family together. Now son has even more reason to dislike them. I'm so glad he's seeing a therapist. Keep it up. Well, now we all know why you divorced him, must have been hell married to that. You should caring for your kid. I didn't go to my dad's wedding to his second wife at 8 years old. He never forgave me, but I wasn't cool with his marriage. I don't regret it either. First of all, your ex can't control your household. Second of all, you don't even have to speak to his wife. Her opinion is largely irrelevant. Your kid is going to have a tough road ahead. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The beatings will continue until moral improves. If your ex wants your son to embrace his new family, he is going about it the wrong way. I doubt this was the first time your son showed disapproval of the new relationship and all it entailed. I hope you are doing all you can to protect your son. Not the asshole. The kid's 8 years old. I've pulled similar stunts to avoid going places. Not to mention the fact he has a valid reason for why. Not the asshole. Yes, because grounding a child for a month for being upset about their parent remarrying is going to help, lol. Not the asshole. I would talk to a lawyer about modifying custody and visitation. Not the asshole. I skipped my mom's wedding. Didn't lie or play sick, just told her I'd rather not go. She said she was sad but understood, and that was that. We brought it up at mother-daughter counseling, but only once. It wasn't a high-drama moment for us. I'm sorry that your ex doesn't respect his son enough that your son had to lie to get out of going. Not the asshole. If it was a reasonable punishment you'd be the asshole, but a month for faking being sick, especially given the reason, is wild. Not the asshole. A month grounding will surely make this kid more resentful of the marriage. It is clear why you divorced this man. Not the asshole. Son's gonna grow up to dislike his dad cause has forcing him to have a relationship with stepmom and stepsisters. Not the asshole. Easy to see why the boy didn't want to go, and why his father's now your ex pushy, entitled, and clearly didn't do enough to make his own kid feel welcomed and include you enough to help him adjust to such a big change. You're a good parent, OP. I wouldn't be surprised if your kid isn't looking forward to spending time in a house with a mean stepmother and her daughters along with a mean father. Your ex sounds abusive, TBA. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You're a good mom, thank God he has you. Keep up the good work, sorry your ex is such a doofus. Not the asshole. A month is extreme for an 8-year-old. And he's clearly working through some things emotionally with the change in family dynamics. Honestly, tell them you'll honor their punishment so he gets credit for time served at your house, then just don't do it. This is not something to punish him for. Your ex isn't taking his feelings into account at all. When your son is 18 and doesn't talk to his dad SM, they'll still have no idea why. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your ex and his wife will get a lot further with your son using a carrot instead of a stick. Not sure why so many people in these situations don't see that. You can't punish a child into loving you. Not the asshole. Wait for ex's new wife to prove to your son that he was right not to be happy about her being a permanent fixture in his life. Not the asshole. Your ex doesn't care for his son's feelings.